Home Minister Amit Shah speaks with the chief ministers of all the states to seek their views on the lockdown. The cabinet secretary holds a meeting with the municipal commissioners, district magistrates of 13 COVID-19 hit cities to take a review of the situation. Discusses the public health response to COVID-19 pandemic. Supreme Court directs that no fare either by train or bus shall be charged from the migrant workers. Orders were to be shared by the states. Supreme Court says migrant workers who are stranded shall be provided food by the concerned state. Rajasthan, Punjab and Madhya Pradesh intensify efforts in dealing with the risk of locust attacks at several places in North India. The External Affairs Ministry says India is committed to an objective of maintenance of peace and tranquility in the border areas with China. On the Nepal border issue, the External Affairs Ministry says that India is open to engaging with all its neighbors on the basis of mutual sensitivity and mutual respect in an environment of trust and confidence. United Nations to honor 5 Indian peacekeepers posthumously for courage and sacrifice in the line of duty for 2018-19. In India, the recovery rate of COVID-19 patients improves to 42.75% with 67,691 patients cured so far. A total of 86,110 active cases in the country and 4,531 deaths. The principal scientific advisor to Prime Minister Professor K. Vijayaraghavan asserts confidence in indigenous vaccine development as about 30 groups trying to develop vaccine in the country. Hello and good morning. You're watching Doordarshan News with me, Nancy Kohli. A top story. The Union Home Minister Amit Shah spoke with all the chief ministers and sought their views on the lockdown induced by COVID-19 pandemic. He not only took the information about the current situation but also sought their views on their plans to proceed with the lockdown. Lockdown 4.0 will end on 31st of May. And the Cabinet Secretary had also held a meeting with the municipal commissioners and district magistrates of the 13 COVID-19 hit cities in the country, including Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata and Chennai. The meeting also bore significance as these 13 cities are considered to be the worst COVID-19 affected locations and constitute about 70% of the positive COVID-19 cases across the country. The chief secretaries and the principal secretaries health of all the states and the union territories have attended the meeting through video conference with the agenda of public health response to COVID-19 pandemic. And let's now go across to our correspondent Sudhakar Das, who's joining us with more details on that. Sudhakar, good morning. So important deliberations, in fact, taking place by the Home Minister and the Cabinet Secretary as well, as far as tackling the COVID-19 pandemic is concerned. And of course, we'll know more measures that are going to be taken as far as this phase of the lockdown that's going to be coming to an end soon.
सीधे तौर पर ये कहा जा सकता है कि एक तरह से जो लगातार केंद्र की ये कोशिश रही है कि राज्यों के साथ संवाद बनाए रखकर राज्यों के साथ लगातार बातचीत कर इस बड़े संकट से पार पाने की कोशिश की जाए, उसका एक सीधे तौर पर हिस्सा माना जा सकता है। गृह मंत्री ने जो कल राज्यों के मुख्यमंत्रियों से संवाद किया है, बातचीत किया है, सभी मुख्यमंत्रियों को उन्होंने जो फोन किया है और निश्चित तौर पर उन्होंने न सिर्फ क्या जो मौजूदा स्थिति है, जो लॉकडाउन चल रहा है, उसके बारे में जानकारी ली, बल्कि साथ ही साथ 31 मई के बाद क्या रणनीति हो सकती है, राज्य इसको लेकर क्या कुछ चाहते हैं, उसके बारे में बातचीत की। और देखिए, इसमें भी कई महत्वपूर्ण पहलू है। एक तो हमने लगातार ये देखा है कि लॉकडाउन का ये चौथा चरण चल रहा है, लेकिन पहले चरण के बाद लगातार दूसरे, तीसरे या चौथे की बात किया तो एक तरह से रिलैक्सेशन लगातार दिए गए, आर्थिक तंत्र जो लगातार खोला गया, राज्यों को और ज्यादा अधिकार दिए गए तमाम चीजें तय करने का। उस लिहाज से क्या और चीजें तय करने का अधिकार राज्यों को दिया जा सकता है जो अभी भी प्रोहिबिटेड है, मतलब एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस हो, होटल, रेस्टोरेंट हो, होम डिलीवरी जरूर अलग, इस तरह की तमाम चीजें, तो प्रोहिबिटेड चीजें उनमें क्या कोई और छूट दी जा सकती है, लॉकडाउन क्या और कंटिन्यू करना है तो किस तरीके से उसको कंटिन्यू किया जा सकता है। और निश्चित तौर पर लगातार पहले लॉकडाउन से देख रहे हैं, 25 मार्च को जो पहला लॉकडाउन हुआ था, लेकिन 20 मार्च को प्रधानमंत्री ने मुख्यमंत्रियों के साथ संवाद किया था और हर लॉकडाउन से पहले वो मुख्यमंत्रियों की राय लेते रहे हैं, उनसे संवाद करते रहे और उसके जरिए इन तमाम चीजों को तय करने की कोशिश करते रहे। तो बेहद महत्वपूर्ण कल का गृह मंत्री का भी संवाद मुख्यमंत्रियों के साथ और अगले 2-3 दिनों में लॉकडाउन 4 खत्म होने तक आने वाले समय के लिए जो रणनीति बनती है, फैसला होता है, उसमें कल जो उनकी बातचीत हुई है उस फीडबैक का काफी महत्वपूर्ण स्थान रहेगा। जी
Absolutely, yes. This is, of course, in the series of meetings that have been taking place ever since the lockdown 1.0 was announced. And, of course, there are the views of the chief ministers being sought as far as devising strategy going forward from here is concerned. As we all know that the lockdown 4.0 is going to be getting over on 31st of May. And, Sudhakar, I would also like to ask you, so when do we get to know exactly, because Prime Minister Modi is, of course, going to be addressing Mann Ki Baat. When do we get to know the strategy going forward from here on, whether the lockdown will be extended, whether more relaxations will be given to the states, of course depending on the COVID situation in each of the states there. So when, what can you share with us as far as that is concerned?
जी बिल्कुल, देखिए जहां तक मन की बात का सवाल है नैन्सी, ये हर महीने के आखिरी रविवार को होता है जो 31 मई को होगा और एक तरह से दोनों चीजों को सीधे तौर पर जोड़ नहीं सकते, लेकिन निश्चित तौर पर अभी चूंकि इस तरह का समय है, सिचुएशन है, तो निश्चित तौर पर प्रधानमंत्री अगर इस मुद्दे को लेकर लोगों में जागरूकता को लेकर वो लगातार कोशिश करते रहे, उन चीजों पर अगर कुछ कहते हैं तो वो काफी महत्वपूर्ण रहेगा और पूरा देश सुनता है। लेकिन जहां तक गाइडलाइंस को लेकर बात, हमने ये लगातार देखा है कि 1 या 2 दिन पहले जो है 31 मई तक का समय है, तो 30 या 31 मई तक आने वाले समय के लिए दिशा निर्देश रहेंगे। लेकिन जो पूरा कंसल्टेशन कल हुआ, चाहे गृह मंत्री की बातचीत हो मुख्यमंत्रियों के साथ या कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी का जो संवाद, खासतौर से इन 13 शहरों के जो म्यूनिसिपल कमिश्नर्स हैं, डीएम है, साथ ही साथ जो हेल्थ सेक्रेटरी या चीफ सेक्रेटरी के साथ जो संवाद रहा, काफी महत्वपूर्ण रहेगा ये इन संवादों की भूमिका आने वाले समय की रणनीति तय करने में। और हम ये लगातार देख रहे हैं कि भारत जैसा इतना बड़ा देश जहाँ 130 करोड़ की आबादी है और हमने पिछले करीब 12 दिन हो गया, 12वां दिन है आज, 29 तारीख है, 17 तारीख को तीसरा चरण खत्म हुआ था और तमाम चीजें खुल गई हैं। हमें 95% चीजें हमको लगता है कि खुल गई हैं, बावजूद इसमें एक तरह से अभी भी एक तरह से नियंत्रित अवस्था में है और ये कंट्रोल हमको बनाए रखना है और साथ ही साथ ये करनी है कि जो फ्लैटनिंग कर्व की बात है, जो हमारा एक तरह से रिकवरी रेट है, वो हमारा उत्साह बढ़ाने वाला 42% से ज्यादा पहुंच गया है, तो इसको लगातार ना सिर्फ बढ़ाना है, फर्टिलिटी रेट कम करना है, पर मिलियन टेस्टिंग बढ़ानी है। तो ये कुछ लक्ष्य है, वो हो सकते हैं आने वाले समय में सरकार के रहें और इस चीज को लेकर राज्यों के साथ संवाद मुमकिन तौर पर हुआ होगा।
ओके, ऑलराइट। Okay, Sudhakar, thanks very much for joining us for the moment and sharing those information. We'll of course keep getting more inputs as far as taking measures and steps concerned as far as tackling the COVID-19 pandemic across the country is concerned. Moving on now to our next top story, the Vande Bharat Mission that continues in full swing and 45,216 Indians have returned back home till now. The phase 1 has successfully been completed from 7th to the 16th of May, while phase 2 that began on the 17th will be carried out till the 13th of June. And during the phase 3, a total of 429 Air India flights, including 311 international flights and 118 feeder flights from 60 countries are scheduled to land in India. The Indian Navy will also be making 4 more sorties to bring back returnees from Iran, Sri Lanka and the Maldives. The External Affairs Ministry is working in close coordination with its missions abroad as well as various stakeholders, including state governments, the Home Affairs Ministry, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, the Ministry of Civil Aviation, the Disaster Management Authority, Air India and the Indian Navy for the repatriation efforts. The ministry has also designated additional secretary-level officers to coordinate with the state governments on quarantine and other logistic issues. The the Union Railways Minister Piyush Goyal has said that over 50 lakh migrant workers have been ferried safely to their respective home states. Till yesterday, 3,736 Shramik special trains have been operationalized from various states across the country. The Indian Railways has also distributed more than 85 lakh free meals and about 1.25 crore free water bottles to migrants travelling in the Shramik special train since the 1st of May. In addition to Shramik specials, the railways are also running 15 pairs of special trains connecting New Delhi and plans to start 200 more timetable trains on the 1st of June. And the Supreme Court has directed that no fare either by train or bus shall be charged from the migrant workers and said that the fare is to be shared by the states. The apex court said that the migrant workers who are stranded shall be provided food by the concerned state at the places, which shall be publicized and notified for the period that they are waiting for their turn. Originating state shall provide meal and water at the station, and during the journey, the railway is to provide meal and water to the migrant workers. Same arrangement should also be done for bus travel. The apex court has also directed that the concerned state shall oversee the registration of the migrant workers, and states should ensure that after the registration, migrants are made to board the train or bus at an early date, and complete information should be publicized to all concerned. And let's now in fact go across to our correspondent Arun Sharma, who is joining us with more inputs on that. Arun, of course, important observation they're coming in by Supreme Court as far as facilitating the travel of the migrant workers is concerned, and making it clear that these in fact expenses, the fare will be borne by the states, and also making it clear that food and water is to be provided. So clearly the focus there being on making this travel by these migrants across the country to their home state so smooth and easy for them that they face no problem.
That's right. That's a basic idea that the migrant laborers should not face any kind of problem, be it financially or be it travel-wise when they're going back home. In that context, this observation of Supreme Court probably is very much significant, because we saw this fact that many of these migrant laborers were facing problem when returning back to home. So yes, in that context, this the point made by Supreme Court is really noteworthy as of now, and this will give a major relief to the migrant labor as well going forward back home. Nancy?
All right. All right, Arun, thanks very much for joining us for the moment and putting those developments into perspective for us. Thanks very much. Moving on now, several states are badly affected by the massive attack of the locusts. The affected states are constantly engaged in their survey and then control work. Efforts are also being made to overcome with the help of Agriculture Department and the local administration. Insecticide spraying is also being done continuously to control the locusts. The locust control stations have also been set up in the affected states, and survey and control operation has been launched on a war footing.
Western states of India are facing the terror of locusts these days. Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh are bearing the brunt of locusts for the first time in the last 2.5 decades. States affected by locusts such as Rajasthan, Punjab, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh are leaving no stone unturned to get rid of locusts. Swarms of locusts are active in Barmer, Jodhpur, Nagaur, Bikaner, Ganganagar, Hanumangarh, Sikar and Jaipur districts of Rajasthan, and Satna, Gwalior, Siddhi, Rajgarh, Betul, Devas, Agarmalwa districts of Madhya Pradesh. States affected by pests are constantly engaged in their survey and control work. Efforts are being made to overcome with the help of Agriculture Department and local administration. Spraying of insecticides is also being done continuously to control the locusts. Authorities concerned are taking all possible measures to control the swarms of locusts in 21 districts of Rajasthan, 18 districts of Madhya Pradesh, 1 district of Punjab and 2 districts of Gujarat. Temporary control camps have also been set up in Ajmer, Chittorgarh and Dausa in Rajasthan, Mandsaur, Ujjain and Shivpuri in Madhya Pradesh and Jhansi in Uttar Pradesh. Talking about Rajasthan, 95,000 hectares have been affected by the locusts. The 21 districts of the state are affected by their attacks. Drones have been deployed in the Samod area of Jaipur to combat the locusts. In Uttar Pradesh, the Agriculture Ministry of the state has alerted the districts bordering the states of Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan and discussed the measures to deal with them.
सभी सीमावर्ती जो मध्य प्रदेश, पंजाब और हरियाणा की सीमा पर और राजस्थान की सीमा पर हमारे जनपद हैं, उनको हम लोगों ने अलर्ट कर दिया और हमारे प्रमुख सचिव ने सभी उस संबंधित जिलाधिकारियों के साथ वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग से वार्ता करके और क्या क्या उपाय करने हैं इसके बारे में उनको जानकारी देते हुए उन्हें सतर्क रहने के लिए कहा। और प्रयास ये किया गया है कि टिड्डी दल जो उत्तर प्रदेश की ओर आ रहा है, जहां कहीं पर भी बैठने की कोशिश करता है, उनके ऊपर छिड़काव करके उनको मार दिया जाए।
At the same time, according to agricultural scientists, this locust has reached India via Pakistan from East Africa and effective control can be done by spraying.
जो टिड्डी दल है इनको हम जो है इंग्लिश में तो डेजर्ट लोकस्ट बोलते हैं। ये जो है ये ग्रासहॉपर की ही फैमिली का एक कीट है। सो जो कि मौसम अनुकूल होने से इनकी संख्या जो है बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ जाती है और ये बहुत बड़े बड़े ग्रुप्स में जो है ये मूव करते हैं, जिसको हम स्वार्म्स बोलते हैं। जो अब आ रहे हैं भारत में इनका प्रवेश हो रहा है वो दक्षिणी ईरान और जो दक्षिणी पश्चिमी जो पाकिस्तान है वहां पर इनकी ब्रीडिंग बहुत ज्यादा हुई है और वहां से जो है ये मूवमेंट जो है वो इंडिया में हो रही है।
Scientists claim that locusts synonymous with terror in many states, including Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra, are actually the result of conditions developed due to global warming. East Africa received excessive rainfall about 5 months ago, which developed the suitable condition for locust breeding. After that, swarms of locusts arrived, travelled 150 to 200 kilometers daily from there to southern Iran and then southwest Pakistan. There too, the pests got suitable breeding environment due to irregular seasonal conditions, which increased their numbers, and now Western India is facing their terror. DD India.
And let's now go across to our correspondent Vishal Barrister, who is joining us with more inputs on that. Vishal, good morning. Clearly, Jaipur, has borne the maximum brunt as far as tackling locust attack is concerned. So give us a sense of what measures were put in place as far as dealing with that. And what are you now learning? Where is this locust attack now headed? Because everyone's really fearing of the terror of the locust attack.
Well, a very good morning to you, Nancy. Indeed, this has been the first attack of its kind in the last 25 years. And eastern Rajasthan, where Jaipur falls in, has been under the attack. And let me tell you that on the 11th of April this year, the locusts entered Rajasthan from Pakistan, from the borders of Sriganganagar and Jaisalmer. And ever since, the traditional methods have been tried. And so far, they have not been able to succeed in the traditional methods. So now, apart from driving the locusts away by beating the utensils and burning the through smoke, and now they are also trying through the drones have been deployed. And let me tell you that in Samud, the drones have been spraying pesticides, and the government of India is saying that they are they have already ordered the atomizer kit from the UK, and that includes the spraying of pesticides through helicopters. So now it's becoming a very grave situation as far as Rajasthan is concerned, not only Rajasthan, because it has spread to other parts of the country as well. Thankfully, the Rabi crop has been harvested, so not much of a damage, but still the fruits and vegetables are under the attack. And the problem remains because the locusts have arrived much before their usual timing, which is July to October.
Right.
But once the rain starts, then they would start breeding, and that would be a big problem. So they have to be contained well in time.
Absolutely, and another important aspect of the locust attack, Vishal, is like you're also saying that of course this is spread to other states as well. But what do we know? Where is this locust attack clearly headed? Because we have been coming across varying reports on that.
Well, Nancy, there is no clear direction of these locusts. Wherever they find the greenery, a green patch, they would proceed that way. And according to the experts, the swarm can attain a speed of 150 kilometers per hour. Now, that's a great speed. And it also depends on the wind direction. So it follows the wind direction, and following the wind direction, it reached Jaipur, and yesterday the pesticides were sprayed through drones. Also, the tractors have been deployed with the pesticide spraying machines. But it all depends on the wind direction and availability of the green patch as the Rabi crop has been harvested. So Rajasthan, there is wherever they would find, they would go, and in other parts of the country like Maharashtra, where they have orange crop, so they are in danger. And these locusts, wherever they would find anything green, they would attack. And according to the experts, a swarm can take up to the food capacity of 2,500 men. Now that's a huge quantity, and that is worrying the experts and also the government.
Absolutely. All right, Vishal Barrister, thanks very much for joining us for the moment and sharing all those inputs. Thanks very much. Moving on now, India is committed to the objective of maintenance of peace and tranquility in the border areas with China, and the Indian armed forces scrupulously follow the consensus reached by the leaders and the guidance provided. The spokesperson of the External Affairs Ministry said that the Indian troops remain firm in the resolve to ensure India's sovereignty and national security. And on the recent developments on the boundary issue with Nepal, the ministry spokesperson also said that India is open to engaging with all its neighbors on the basis of mutual sensitivity and mutual respect in an environment of trust and confidence. Moving on now, Cyclone Amphan uprooted several trees, hindered the movement of traffic and led to power disruptions in several parts of Kolkata. The cyclone, the strongest storm on record in the Bay of Bengal, ripped through West Bengal, Odisha and Bangladesh on 20th May. The storm created monumental challenges for state governments amid their intensifying fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. All right, let's move on now to get you updates as far as the COVID-19 situation is concerned, and the figures first. Well, according to the Health and the Family Welfare Ministry, 86,110 active cases have been registered across the nation. A total of 67,691 people affected with COVID-19 have been cured and discharged, while 4,531 people have lost their lives due to the COVID-19 virus. And the principal scientific advisor to the Government of India, Professor K. Vijay Raghavan, has said that about a total of 30 groups in India, big industry to individual academics, are all involved in developing the COVID-19 vaccines. He said that around 20 research are keeping a good pace. And the principal scientific advisor also explained the working mechanism of the vaccine and the process of manufacturing the vaccine. Professor Raghavan also stressed on the need to do 5 things, to tackle the situation. And let's now take a look at the latest update on the global confirmed cases of COVID-19. The cases there across the world have crossed 58 lakh with more than 3,59,000 deaths. The US remains the worst affected, which has crossed 17 lakh cases and over 1 lakh deaths. Brazil is the second worst affected country with over 4,38,000 confirmed cases and over 26,700 deaths. In some other news now, 5 Indian peacekeepers, in fact, we'll get you that news in just a bit. We're talking about how their contribution as far as the UN is concerned. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news. But news and updates will continue here on Doordarshan News and DD India. Thanks very much for being with us.